So this is the toroidal shape, where we have taken a current carrying conductor, which is just a wire that has current going through it. We've looked at the magnetic flux lines and we know the direction that they're going to go into, but then we bend that into a shape so that they all concentrate in the middle and give us this beautifully strong magnetic field in the middle. Why would we want to do that? We have a lot of good reasons for wanting to do that, because that's how you make an electromagnet. When we wind some current, we wind some current carrying conductors with current running through them around a metal core. So what we've done is we've got our magnet or our metal core, which is just basically a ferromagnetic material that's not magnetized yet. Okay, this is just an iron core. This is just a hunk of iron sitting on my desk. If we wind some coils around that of a current carrying conductor, then each of these wires that are wrapped around this are going to have their flux lines, and those flux lines are all going to be aligned. And when those flux lines are all aligned, it's going to do great things to this piece of iron, and it's going to make this piece of iron act like a magnet. So here's what it looks like. If we stick a piece of iron in this, right now there's just air in this, but if I stick a piece of iron in this, even if there's air in this, once I wrap these together, all of these little flux lines around each of these pieces of wire all added up together, and they made some poles. So if we remember, our current carrying conductor does not have poles, but we can make some poles happen just like a magnet, just like a piece of ferromagnetic material. So if we'll remember, a current carrying conductor, which is just a wire, a current carrying conductor is a wire and it has current going through it. When I have current going through it, it induces magnetism. It induces these flux lines that go in a certain direction that are continuous along the wire. If I take that wire and bend it, I can bend that wire to a toroidal shape. Now these flux lines are going, let's say this current is flowing this way, then these flux lines are going to be coming up, around, and over, just like this in this direction. These are our lines of flux. The next step is to bend it into this toroid, and then continue bending into another toroid. Let's continue bending into another toroid shape and continue bending into another toroid shape. Continue bending into another toroid shape. Continue bending into another toroid shape. And if these are all connected together with one continuous amount of current going through, then we can look at what happens to all of those little lines of flux. I'm going to erase that because my current's going in a different direction. So here we go, continuing to bend. So my current's coming in here. My current goes in this direction. My current goes in this direction. If my current's always going in this direction, in the front, my current are these red arrows always going in this direction, then essentially my current is traveling from the bottom to the top. So the direction of my conventional current is this, from the bottom to the top. Current is flowing from the bottom to the top. But each of these little wires, each of these little coils, therefore, has lines of flux going from the inside out the top to the outside. This one, this coil up here, has a little line of flux going from the inside to the outside because I know that from the inside to the from the top to the outside to in again from the bottom. I know that because of the direction of current. This is basically like we've taken this. Here's the coil that I'm looking at. It's going around. This is the top coil. Here's the top coil. I'm looking at it. It has current going through like this. I use the right-hand rule. That tells me that flux went like this. It went out the top into the bottom, out the top into the bottom. Every one of these coils had flux going out the top into the bottom. But if they all have coils going out or magnetic flux lines going out the top into the bottom, then what happens is they in effect join each other. Out the top into the bottom, out the top into the bottom, out the top into the bottom, out the top into the bottom. And as they're doing that, they're joining together out the top into the bottom, out the top into the bottom, because they were all going in that direction, out the top into the bottom. They were all going in the same direction. So the result of taking this current carrying conductor, I turned it into a toroid. I know I've concentrated this. Now I concentrate it more and more and more and more. I stack these concentrated toroids. These were our toroids. It's concentrated in the middle. Stack these toroids on top of each other. Use the same coil to stack them. I stack these toroids with this concentrated magnetic field inside here. Once I've stacked them together, all of those magnetic lines of flux join together because they're all moving in the same direction. They all end up coming out the top into the bottom, not unlike a magnet. Now, a magnet and electromagnet are two different things. But if I had this magnet sitting on my desk, this is a magnetized ferromagnetic material with a north pole and a south pole, then the magnetic lines of flux would come out the top into the bottom, out the top into the bottom. We know this because we know this is how magnets work, that they come out of the north pole into the south pole. So what I have just done is I have made a magnet, but I've made it with no ferromagnetic material. There's only air in between these coils. And I have gone from no pole in a current carrying conductor to, yes, a pole. I just made a pole. I made a north pole. I made a south pole. And I didn't have to go out and buy this magnet, did I? I didn't have to go out and buy this magnet. And what's so useful about this? The reason why this is so exciting and so useful is that this pole, I mean, this magnet that's sitting on my desk, it can't turn on and off. So if I use this to pick up a crushed vehicle at the recycler, then that vehicle is going to be connected to that magnet forever. Whereas here, I can turn on and off. So, in conclusion, this is really cool. I made a magnet that behaves just like this magnet, but I can't turn this magnet on my desk on and off. I can, yes, turn this magnet on and off. I can put some current through it It's going to suck up that car. It's going to sit there attached to a pole. And then I'm going to move that car to a different spot. I'm going to turn off the current. That will collapse this magnetic field and it's going to drop the car. I have just made a magnet that I can completely control by turning it on or off. I can also switch the poles by switching the direction of the current. I can also make it strong by making more current flow, and I can make it weak by making less current flow. And I can't do any of these things with the bar magnet that's sitting on my desk.